What's up?
Not much, man. Just we out here streaming. This is like your first forte in live streaming as well, too, right?
Yeah, it is.
Leaves.
Yeah, I hate it.
If you couldn't tell with all my experience that I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
No, dude, I've done a lot of shit, but the specific stuff we're doing in this, I was like, damn, dude, I've used Zoom one time.
Yeah, it's you and one other dude that we have to do later, and that one's gonna be a nightmare for me to be
for Zoom. Yeah, if we have that problem,
like,
is he on
put
next?
all the microphone settings from either the output from my Mac or from my interface with my mic, and like nothing was working. I was like, I don't even know.
Yep.
Yeah, at least we have the Facebook alternative, which in case, well, I guess we should have a time between this to
we'll figure it out because we got some breaks. Yeah. But just you said in the comments that the way that you describe your music is more industrial and you switch back and forth. Is there a reason? Because I don't know music.
So I'm pretty much I've liked a bunch of shit from the way my dad pretty much had me listen to music, from industrial and then just listening to rap growing up, and then also metal in between. So I pretty much just like all three. So I was like, can I find a way to mix all three when I make it? And so that's basically what I've been trying to do. And if I can't mix all three, I'll just kind of like stick to one or two styles at a time, and then just bounce back and forth, like on stage too, like switch back and forth, like the different styles we play.
Yeah, which is like similar to how we became friends after the show. Was Ghostman was what we related to on that, because
we talked about like half night,
which is like he's a big blender of like weird styles like that like I know other people have done it and shit, but he's definitely, when people think of like blending rap and metal,
or if not the best.
Yeah, definitely I'd say the most well known, and unless it's somebody that I'm missing, and then definitely the best of that is like a majority blanket of his style for sure. But because there's others that do that too, but then they have even more stuff like Bones does some of that shit, but then he does softer stuff and he does dance shit and whatever else, and that's cool.
See,
that's kind of the overall goal. And even like kind of like some of the stuff on our last EP was like, I was fucking around trying to do industrial stuff, and I like ended up doing almost like a techno or like an EDM intro track for it, and just like a little bit of everything, and just kind of seeing basically what can we do and do it well.
Yes.
And kind of go with it.
Because if you add it and it doesn't fit the vibe, it's like, we'll put it out as a single and see how it goes.
That's basically the idea.
I was gonna say, because I have heard about you for years because of Nate.
Yeah,
Nate's
a little over a year or two almost now. Damn.
Yeah. We actually did Paint 2, which the whole thing's not out yet. We did that back in December, actually. No, it was in 2022.
We did it in December, but then edited it in February, and then we had some shit going on to where I only got to do the first hour of 3 after he did for all of it. So.
Yeah. Well, that'll come out at some point, but we talked a lot about you, and I think I started listening to some of your stuff, because I'm not really into the very...
You're not into heavier stuff, or you weren't for the longest time, because you're like, I'm not angry like that, I'm not hateful, and it's like, if you hear it as that, that's what it is. Back before Grimm, I mean, just like, like you're like, I don't like the angry stuff, it's so angry, it's like hateful and mean. I'm like, no, it's frustration that you feel. They take it out in a different way than you do if you listen to the words. Sure, I get it, if it doesn't sound what you like, then that's whatever, but it's the meaning. Yes, continue, sorry.
It's definitely an acquired taste and like very much niche specific. So I get it for people who are like, it's not really my thing. Like, I'm not, like, some people will be all like kind of butthurt about it, but I'm like, I know when I first started listening to that music, it took me a while to get in it or to find something to like like push into like the next thing that I liked. But like, so when people aren't a fan of it, I definitely get it. It's an acquired taste, where it's like either you love it or you hate it.
Openly, my favorite part of your shows is when you're like, hey, what's up? We're Grimm. We're going to play a bunch of music that you guys fucking hate. That's my favorite every time. Hope you guys rock with us, but either way, you're not going to like this shit. Yeah.
I mean, because when Nate said we were going to have you on stream, and I was so grateful for it, I wanted to listen to your music, and I have, to try and get an ear for it, and I actually... was very surprised that I ended up enjoying it a lot more. Like, I've been listening to, basically when you jump on Spotify and your first 5 songs, I'm like, Flesh Party's really good. I love the way that it ends with it, like, it just, I don't know how to describe it. I don't want to say just like reverbs, but I love that ending.
Yeah, like rings out.
Yeah, I love that so much.
Yeah, I always love that shit.
Feast is really good too.
Thank you. That one's probably our most popular because of the guy on there named Gizmo. He's like Gizmo. A huge guy in the trap metal world, and he's definitely was one of my big inspirations when we were first starting out and like a lot of his stuff. So when he was down to work with us, it was very, very exciting for us.
Yeah, when I had seen that, I was like, oh shit, because it's another like small world type of thing. Because back in 2018, when Joe and I first had seen Twisted, the first time we met / seen Worm was at that show as well at the Forge. And when Worm opened up for them, he had Gizmo with him. I think he had Gizmo with him. Joe might correct me in chat, but he definitely did shit with Gizmo, and it was very cool. I thought he had Shadow Puppet maybe too, but we'd seen that and then seen him, and then when I seen you had a song with him, I'm like, oh shit, we heard of him from Worm back in 2018. So it was cool to just see that like he was still a big face in the scene and just doing stuff with smaller people like still, and the numbers don't matter on it. It's like what you put out and how you put into it. For me at least.
Numbers are definitely a funny thing, because that's like when you're going to play shows or if you're trying to reach labels, all they want to do is see numbers. But it's like, well, a lot of people fudge those numbers. It's like, let's just look at the quality instead.
Yeah, exactly. Like looking at the quality, like somebody with 5 followers can be arguably better than someone with 1 million, and you see it all the time.
Absolutely.
I mean, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say that's not us, but definitely like agree to that point.
There's definitely a lot of artists that are way bigger than all of us combined that you guys are way better than, and at least the heart and soul of it and your morals of going into it are better than them, even if somehow not musically. But I love your guys' music, man. So
thanks, man.
I mean, I remember when Blink-182 came out, and they had exorbitant amount of tickets, and then everybody's like, "Hey, don't pay $3,000 to go see some guys just playing the same song over and over. Go pay like $5 for
an indie band
for a kid screaming out his soul for a hot dog." Like that, I love that tweet.
That is true.
My question is, because the premise of Season of the Curse is basically like 2 small content creators being haunted by Halloween spirits, and their type of journey of being these small content creators who want to be bigger than what they are at the moment. How have you felt as you have gone from being just a guy that nobody's known to a guy who's like going to concerts and actually performing in front of
a whole tour coming up,
and a whole tour,
It is funny when we think about it, like, because whenever like anyone actually recognizes us at a show, it's kind of, for us, we're very appreciative of it, and because we know we've been kind of playing the region for the last, I'd say 2 years, like basically since COVID came back, is like we've been starting to play more, and whenever someone like shoots at our Instagram or our Facebook, like, hey, we saw them at this show, they did XYZ, or like kind of talked about it. Like for us, it's like, even if one person remembers from a show, that's an exciting feeling for us, that we at least made somewhat of an impact, that someone liked what we did. And so we just kind of pretty much try to carry that energy every show, because like I said, it is really like really appreciative and like a really cool thought to like that you made something, and then so many months or a year or 2 years that down the road that somebody even wants to come back and see you guys again with like it's someone else. Like for me, like that we're still like in their mind making that impression is like really cool.
I agree. And that too with like, I think we had talked about it a little bit before, I know DJ and have, where it's just like you have that one song or something to where you're just like, I like it, but like I don't feel like putting it out, or I don't feel like putting it on the EP or as a single, and then you throw it on because it's a throwaway one is what I call it. I'm like, I threw this throwaway one on there, and it's somebody's favorite song, and then you're like, hey man, I'm glad that you like my stuff. What do you like? You know, and they're like, oh, I love this one, and I'm like, that one? You like that one? I almost deleted that bitch. Like, come on. But it's so weird what you think people are going to like or not like is always different, because there's literally something for everybody.
Do you have like go ahead.
No, go ahead. You're good.
I was just going to say, do you have like a bunch of songs like that where you're like, I just don't feel like that, and it just tucked away? Because I know this guy's got a lot of content tucked away.
Drawings, and photos, everything.
And there's some that are the opposite, like where I thought a song that I had that was going to actually really be
like
a
banger.
A better performing one that I really liked, because like for like our new EP, when we did the second song is called No Stitches, and it has Horace from Black Mage, which is Ghostman's label. Like I really like how that
Ghostman's brother,
fits. And not as many people are geared towards that one, but then Flesh Party is a little bit of a slower one, which I really love. I love that song, and I'm like really, really happy with it. But I was like, I don't think as many people are gonna like this one because of the lyrics and the way it comes off is like so. I love playing it, but I don't know if other people are gonna like it as much as this one that has higher energy. But it was like complete switch.
Yeah,
where everybody, when we play that one, everyone wants to hear that one, and No Stitches, which is the one with Horace, people are like, that's all right. I'm like, Okay.
Drop it in like the Black Mage Reddit or something, man. Literally. Horace Black new song. People like, damn, dude, hell yeah. You know.
I mean, that's actually how I found a lot of artists like that. Like really indie, small artists is going through TikTok and finding people.
The targeted ads, not targeted, but like the sponsored ads from small people like us on TikTok is how I found a couple of different like really cool instrumental or music people like Dust Bowl Champion and Bliss with 3 S's. Leilani. Mm-hmm. She's going on a tour with Incubus in Australia, like co-headlining it. It was just cool. I know. But yeah, so like that's cool. She's this really weird, like does live looping electronic sort of synth music all by herself, and then like live one girl punk band too, like. But she's opening for Incubus on like an Australian tour as like the main co-headliner or whatever. So, but my point was I found them through TikTok.
My question was because I've seen your I've seen a lot of videos that Nate has taken at your concerts, and I wanted to talk more about your look and like how that came about. I sent you an email. I sent you an email of some concept art
I did see that.
For if you wanted to pull it up on your computer so you can show the audience. But
yes.
But we have some concept art for the look of the villain of our short film Season of the Curse 2 that we're going to be making a prop, and we're using the likenesses of your look, and I wanted you to tell us a little bit about how your look came about and why you gravitated more to that.
Yeah, so when growing up, I always listened to like mask shit. Like I liked Slipknot. They were cool. Like when I was this big, Slipknot was like the heaviest shit I listened to. And then as I got older, I was like, okay, that's kind of like rock to me because I'll listen more like deathcore and shit like that. But then another good friends of mine are in a band called Kiss and Candace, and they do the mask stuff. And my dad actually makes masks.
That's what I was gonna tell you. His dad does the mask and shit. Dude, the ability to rip the skin off of the mask is so sick. I love that.
Such a good look.
That's definitely one of the best ones he's made.
Sometime I was thinking you should do like some like the logos that your dad does or that you have, do like a mask where it's you can actually, if depending on what the skin is made of, use a real tattoo gun to like do face tats on the mask of when you rip the skin off. That'd be kind of a cool idea. Because I know they give fake skin with tattoo kits and shit, and if that mask is similar, then it might just hold ink really well.
Right now we're using latex because it's the easiest thing that fits our mold.
Yeah.
But what would actually be cool, like you said, is that we could take that, do thin layers of it, and then do the prosthetics over the top of it.
Shit, yeah, that is true.
That is like the coolest, most badass like part of performing that I really like, where people come out, they perform, and they do really good performances. But people like you, Grimm, or Blood Cultures, where they actually like, put a lot of work into the look, not even just the music, is just so like great to me. Is there a reason like the look of that mask came about, or is it just something that you guys messed around with?
So it's a little bit of both. It's like, so when I was originally making it, there's this movie from like the early 2000s, and it's called Repo, the Genetic Opera.
I love Repo.
Have you heard of it?
I've seen that. I love that shit.
DJ is a huge movie guy, so obscure shit, he probably has seen it or at least heard about it for sure, more than me.
Amazing. Yes. Okay, so do you remember Pavi, who had the face stapled on because he wanted to find the perfect face?
Yes,
and so it was a combination of that where he would peel people's faces off and then he would plastic surgery staple them on. So it was a little bit of that mixed with the other concept of when they would take in that movie and they would take like the things that like how the Repo Man would slice people up, take their stuff out, whatever. But I also like that they would have the claws that would basically rip open to go in and retract. And so it was kind of mixing the idea of that, which is like finding that picture perfect, pretty face, but also having it like retracted open. So that's why there's the 4 hooks that come out to open the mouth. And that's kind of where it came from.
That is so cool because I love that movie. I remember I got really into Rocky Horror at one point when I was a young kid, and then I looked up more like type of musicals like that, and that was the only one I found that was even remotely as cool. Dude, I love.
It's awfully terrible. It's amazing.
I mean, I love that. That's part of the reason I love it so much. Sometimes I'm just walking around and I just in my head it pops up. It's like. In a little glass vial, which
it's so catchy. All of the songs in that movie are so catchy. I love it.
See, that means a lot to me. That's where the mask inspiration came from. That's so cool.
You made a mask for Season of the Curse.
Say what?
You're good. Say what you said again, Ethan. I talked the wrong time.
Oh, you're good. I just said I'm happy that you knew what it was. It makes it a lot easier to explain.
Yeah, exactly. What'd you say?
Oh, I said you made a mask for Season of the Curse.
Which one?
Patches?
I know I was gonna.
Okay, I was like, are you gaslighting me? The face of Season of the Curse. Yeah. So he had never done paper mache or anything before, and he had looked up a video back when we were doing Season of the Curse, and then he had sent me a picture of something. I'm like, oh, that's really cool. Who made that? And he's like, me. And I'm like, what? You made that? And the big head of Patches for Season of the Cursed, right here. We can switch for audience. Oh, I forgot. I turned the left cam off. Grimm disappeared. All right. That's Patches.
Dude,
and
that's badass.
Yeah, I did not know how to do any of this, and I was just like, well, I want to do it, so we'll
The other eye
out.
is in our living room. Is in my living room, by the way. And that's a tooth crammed in the eye because it fell out because he's moved a few times, and so have I since then.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, this is 4 years old now, so.
Yeah, damn.
But the reason...
that's really cool.
Yeah, trying to stick your head in it, like...
I was just going to, actually.
Yeah, the person who played Patches in the movie...
Bees! Oh my god, there's bees! Sorry if that was loud. I had to commit to the Chris Farley bit.
You had to commit.
Chris Farley? I thought that was a Nick Cage thing.
No, it was Tommy Boy.
I thought it was
I got something to take care of the cops.
Okay, all right.
Maybe it is, and he was referencing it then.
No,
unless it was after then.
No, that was a bad movie, Wicker Man. But the reason I wanted to show that is because we have for the main guy, Tricky, Split, Tricky, and Tricky. That's the new villain of Season of the Curse 2, and we had we made some concept art. I had my partner Nick draw something, and we came up with this. It's the premise is that there's a thing that it's kind of like a worm thing, spirit type, that got cut in half and then it is split. So it
became, instead of it being a head and the tail end of the worm, it became two heads, two different entities, and that's basically Tricky. And one of them is you/your likeness, and then the other one, who he was supposed to be on stream, we had him initially scheduled, but he has his own fest going on today, is Worm. So one half is you and one half is Worm. And it looks pretty sick, to say the least, so far.
If you wanted to show, just show that one first, because that's, I don't know how you have it on screen.
At least, I mean, if he's on screen anywhere still, at least the audience can see it.
Damn, dude, that's fucking awesome.
So we got...
Yeah, Nick was, when they were making it, they had this whole idea of, what was it, the drama masks, one of the smile and one of sadness.
Oh, the opera, like Phantom of the Opera, is that what you mean?
That looks so good.
Yeah, that's kind of what we're trying to go for. We want to make the prop, but the thing about this one is that we want it to actually function in a different way. So when Split Tricky is talking, he's talking like this, and when Tricky is talking, he's talking like this. But when they combine, they talk a different way. If you want to bring up that next picture.
Second image, I might have to rotate it, right?
Yeah, rotate it.
Okay.
It's going to open up.
Oh, I see. That's the Grimm side, and then that's the Worm side.
Yeah.
Damn.
We're trying to make it look like that, and when they come together, they want to talk at the same time. And we want it. This one, we really want Tricky to look visceral and scary, whereas Patches is very spooky. But this time we want it to look...
Because that was a main theme of Season of the Curse, was it doesn't have to be scary to be spooky.
Like Halloween isn't just scary, it's spooky. But this time around, it's scary. That's what we're trying to go for in this one. Tricky's like the main dude of this, and it's real quick. I don't know if I've talked to you about this one. Did we talk to Grimm about playing Split Tricky and Tricky? I
think I had brought it up to you quite a few months ago. Like, hey, when we're doing Season of the Curse 2, kind of wanted you to be in it somewhat for something, but if not, my bad. I could have sworn we did.
Yeah.
Because I know I'd asked Worm. I think I messaged you guys both at the same time about it, honestly, but if not, it's wacky.
Completely fine if not, but we did want to like try and get you just to do voice and like audio stuff. Dude.
Absolutely.
That makes me feel so good. Especially now that I have an ear for your music.
To be part of it.
Dude, awesome. That is so good. Because the whole premise of Season of the Curse 2 is about small creators who just want to create. And as someone who makes amazing music, how I guess, how do you feel? Like, have you always felt like you've wanted to create stuff? Have you always felt like you wanted to make music, or did something happen that inspired you?
So when I was younger, the big thing for me is that when I was going to concerts with my dad when I was smaller, is that all I wanted to do was I saw on stage how they made people feel or react, whether that was moshing, fighting, or jumping up and down, feeling excited, whatever it was, like screaming words back at them, whatever emotions they were making people feel. I was like, man, fuck, I want to do that. Like I want to make people feel that happy. I want to make people feel that angry. I want to make people whatever it is. I want them to feel that. And so that's kind of where it started for me. Is I wanted to be on the opposite side. Is I wanted to be able to provide something and create something that would have that impact for people. Like, not that I wanted it for me, but like I saw how happy it made other people, and I was like, fuck, I want to do that. Like,
you want it to resonate. Like, when I go to a show or I find a new band and then they have lyrics that are like specific to them but relate to me on such a specific level about something where everybody does it with almost everything, where it's like, only I'm feeling this way. This has only happened to me. But like when you hear it in a song, you're like, fuck, man, I'm not alone. And then you can like listen to that when you're feeling that way. And it just, and that song is never going to change unless they change the song. But I mean, there's almost always a copy of it. But if not, it's a small artist, download all their shit while you get the time.
I mean, there's been so many people I've found that have just deleted their stuff because they hate it. I know you're one of those people that have deleted a song or have made it, I won't tell you which one it is.
I have old videos for sure. But
well, okay, this is just a quick story. We were riding in his car, and he put on a CD of a song he made.
Oh, yeah, but you know about this too, actually. It's like I told you, I did a whole album last fall, and I didn't put out any of it, the vocal parts, just the instrumental of it. And I would play the full album for him because it was in my car on a CD that I'd burnt to hear how it sounded, not in my headphones or on my speakers. And he was just recording me while I was driving, like just rapping it basically for the first time. And then he had posted it as a TikTok or something last week, and I'm like, not you leaking the album. Like, not you leaking a snippet from the album. Like, it was fine, but I was just like, I don't know how that song's gonna change sound yet still when it comes out. But
yeah, I just,
like you said earlier, put it out. Even if one person likes it, one person likes it, right?
Yeah, it's more of like, I've been not afraid, but afraid to get back into it to see if there's a lot more work that I have to do on it than I thought, because of just the head state I was in of recording then. My audio was shitty, or I was like in my head instead of like not being able to fully project it, and I was just like into the mic in my room, kind of not fully doing it, sort of thing that I get trapped of. But
oh, that was me with my first set of roommates that I was living when I was in DeKalb. I was the same way. I was like, do I want to commit and record when there's 3 people in this house right now? Do I want to like yell from a basement or you feel so like you're self-conscious about it, and so you don't really want to go.
But then the thing is, like, I could be like listening to, Ghostman or Suicide Boys, Bones, Bloodhound Gang or something, and just be fucking screaming the most obscene lyrics, singing, rapping, talking, whatever. And like my parents, whoever is out there, know what I listen to and how I talk, and they wouldn't be able to like necessarily know, oh, that's Nate's original song. I'm listening to his emotions right now, and not just a song from fucking Devo or something.
I'm happy you said Bloodhound Gang, dude. Nobody listens to them either. Not enough people.
Man, they're one of my favorite bands. I have all their albums. I used to have right here was a giant Bloodhound Gang Hooray for Boobies poster that's in my room because I switch out posters a lot. They're one of my favorite bands. I started going off one night when they mentioned.
I love Bloodhound.
Dude, fuck yeah!
Real quick, I do it. We did a TTRPG audio drama where he played a high schooler, Puzzle Valley. We have matching tattoos.
Kind of see mine.
And I was asked because I wanted their group in the game to have a name. So I asked them like, what's the mascot?
I can recreate it right here. I was sitting facing the computer here at the time, and I look at the wall right there, and I go, let's be the Bloodhound Gang.
I was like, oh, that's a great name, because I've never heard of the band. I didn't know. So if he didn't tell me who they were,
it was like a year or so later. You're like, wait, the Bloodhound Gang? And I'm like, yeah?
Yeah, I had already made like some type of photoshopped like logo for you guys.
Yeah.
But like what you said about screaming or trying to get into it, I was recording for that same audio drama, Puzzle Valley, at my partner's apartment, and it was like 3 a.m, and it was like during a murder scene of one of the characters, and I was trying to be a character, and I was just crying and like, oh no, I don't want to die. And they came out and they were worried about. They were like, "Are you okay?"
We thought the tree cutters got in. There's been major tree cutting on his street the last week, and he's trying to record the finale little bits for his thing, and he's like, "I'm gonna go insane, bro."
But also recording that in an apartment, you don't want to be too loud. And how do you record now? Do you record at your house, or are you allowed to just scream out, or is it more of is it like an actual studio, or is it more makeshift?
So luckily, my fiance and I just finally bought our first house together a couple months ago. So now I don't have to scream in my parents' basement. So now I've got a home studio set up, basically, like halfway set up to where I'd want it. Where I've got my microphone, I've got studio monitors, and a couple of like my E-kit is back there, all set up and basically ready to go. Mm-hmm. And then when we do formal recordings, I'll go up to our producer who's up in Schaumburg and Streamwood. Okay. And we'll do official like album recordings there. But yeah, it used to be me screaming in the basement, either at my parents' house or my townhouse up at NIU.
Oh shit!
That's
hell
the first ones were done.
Joe had just said Husky Pride a minute ago in chat. By the way,
I was gonna.
My man.
I was just gonna ask because sometimes because going back to the original recordings of any project I've ever worked on, and going to the more current stuff, I'm like, oh man, my more current stuff sounds better. Do you have that same feeling, or do you think it's like a different feeling?
But do you mean like the way it sounds as like the audio and stuff itself, or just like the content within? Because I know for me and you, we mainly mean the way the stuff sounds, not the content within. It's great content that sounds like shit.
That's how we feel about our
like
stuff.
Denoising it too much or not enough, or too much low end, etc.
We cooked the audio.
Yeah, I would do that a lot on accident, learning how to do it. Everybody goes through different curves of it. But
yeah, how did that go for you?
So for me, that's actually why I left out my very first single in 2019 called American Psychos. That was like the first thing I did myself, all the way from instrumental up to recording of the vocals through the mastering because it's trash. Like that's the reason I left that one up is because that one I did like fully by myself in my basement, no producers or anything, and it's fucking awful. But like I leave it up because I'm like, all right, well we started there.
Do you have the original project files for it still to like remix it?
Oh yeah, I do, and I never want to open them because they're so fucking bad.
I feel that too, and then there's just so much new shit that you're doing to where even if you get a spur of the moment, where like, you know what, I want to remaster that first track. It's been 4 years or whatever. Where you're just like, I got all this new shit, and then you're also teaching and bought a house and all this other shit too, or you just don't even want to think about a 2019 project that you kind of hate. So I feel that.
I definitely do want to redo it. Like you're right, because I definitely feel like I like the song and I probably could do it some justice now that I've got more experience.
Yeah, definitely.
And I definitely do want to do it eventually.
It'd be cool to like re-record it and then just reprocess the first one.
Yep.
It as like an EP or something, or 2 singles.
Yeah. And like you said, it's supposed to get better. Like that's the thing is like we're upgrading and going through. Like we've had a couple different producers that did amazing work for us for where we're at, for how much money we had, and where they were just starting out, we were just starting out, and then now we're trying to get into ones that are just going to elevate our sound. And the other thing is, it's not maybe that one producer is better or worse than the other. Is that if you stick with the same one, like the way they edit is like their style, and which I loved his style that we had for the first album and a half. Is now we want to go to a different one, a different producer, so that we can have maybe some different inputs or different ways that they mix or master, so that way.
Yeah, you kind of get stuck in like. Yeah, exactly. Not that it's bad to get stuck in a sound, but you get stuck in, even if you're the one doing it over and over again, you're setting the same audio parameters and the same effects and shit. And I like to go off of the vibe of the song to be like more or less echo or anything like that too, or just the patterns. But having different opinions too, even if you're like, hey, my friend produced this, you know, what do you think? And send it to another producer friend, see what they say. Then that's always good too. But sending shit that's unreleased is always so like nerve-wracking.
How do you feel how your sound has evolved? Do you feel like it has evolved like greatly, or do you think you've just been making it like stacking on stacking on
like doing what you wanted originally but doing it better?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the first album when we recorded it was mostly on the trap metal side, a couple metal songs. Yeah. And I really, really like that. And then now we've been kind of pigeonholing more towards the industrial stuff, which I really
industrial
love.
I love. Fuck yeah.
But it's more niche, and I like doing that, but I also still like the trap metal shit. So I'm trying to balance it a little better, and that's where the new songs that are not done completely yet is, like I said, have they gotten better or worse? It depends on the style. Like, I think stylistically they haven't changed, or like quality hasn't changed, but I definitely think like just the style of like the music has definitely like swayed a lot. And but like I said, I like doing the different genres. So for me, that's a good thing. It's just trying to balance all of them. You know what I mean?
I agree. Also, I don't know what countdown started on Zoom, but it started 10 minutes ago that says less than 1 minute. Yeah. Oh, bruh. Free Zoom meeting is ended. Okay.
I told you that happens. I told you
so much.
Okay, well, we can see you still. Okay, that's good.
Does this work?
Yeah, we're good. We're good.
I just have.
Suck so bad.
Dude, you have no. I do have one more question. Kind of. Because as for me, a guy who's been working on a single project for a long time, like 5 years, I have. Going back and looking through, I can definitely see where I was mentally and how I was using it kind of therapeutically to help. Going back to your old music or any other project before, do you have that same feeling of like you can tell where you were mentally and how you've progressed?
Even physically too, like where you were living and shit.
Absolutely. I think the reason I've been struggling to release new music is it's been a while, is I've been in a not super stoked mental spot where I've been like listening to a lot more like of the sad Suicide Boys, sad Lil Peep shit, when I know that when I was writing, in my opinion, my better music was when I was listening to more of the angrier shit, like the Angry Ghost Man, and like the more high energy
it's
stuff.
The fire behind it.
Yeah. And so I've been writing stuff that's been a little bit, nothing wrong with like softer music, but it's like for me
sometimes it's harder to get into it, recording it.
The quality is not as high as where I'd like my stuff to be right now, and that's kind of why nothing's been put out for a little bit, is because I don't want to just rush stuff out. I'd rather take my time and
always take your time, man. Like the real fans the real fans aren't gonna bitch, they're gonna understand. And they're either gonna like it or they won't. That's how I kind of gotta see it.
Fans, that's right.
Hey man, I feel that too, but I think you definitely got plenty of hardcore fans.
I mean, I definitely wasn't one of those people who liked that type of music, but listening to your stuff and getting an ear for it, I've actually really just found myself going, oh, I'm about to get in the shower, let me just put on some Grimm. And just like
so you can hear it over the water.
but just not even thinking about it, because I can tell that it's good and I'm actually getting an ear for it, and I never thought I'd be into that type of music.
That's what I was like telling you too with like, well, it'll be a theme later, but with like country music, I was growing up listening to it a lot, and I don't like a lot of it, but I can have an ear for if it's good music or not, whether or not I like it or not.
Yeah.
I'm the same way. If it's done well, I can appreciate it. It might not be my thing where I listen to it all the time, but I can appreciate when something is done well. Absolutely.
Yes, you can at least recognize it, even if you're like, I don't like this, but like they did a good job mixing or whatever, you know, or a good voice, guitar or whatever. And
I especially think like, because I was listening to your music when I have been writing the script for Season of the Curse too, I really am. I am so happy with that type of sound for Tricky specifically, because it just fits so perfectly in my mind. I'm like, that is just going to be so good to see.
Well, thank you, man. I'm happy that it's having that good impact for you. Like that it's working and it's clicking.
Oh, no, it's great. Honestly, I did not think I was going to enjoy it as much as I have. It's really good. We are at 1 o'clock.
I would say we are at 1 o'clock, so we'll not like immediately like bye, rush you out of here. But if you have anything else you want to promote or say or ask real quick.
Yeah, Nate immediately messaged me the second he saw that you were going on tour, and we were both like hyped for it.
It was like right before the stream, we're like, bruh, Grimm just said he'd be on our thing, and then a half hour later drops a full tour.
Like, hell yeah.
Sick, man.
Thank you guys for having me on. I appreciate you allowing me to kind of explain what we do and why we do it. Yeah, we are, to branch off that, we are going on our first full-length tour with Tim Skold, who is he was a guitar player, or he is the guitar player for Marilyn Manson. He's also from KMFDM, Frontline Assembly, and then his own music.
Oh, shit, okay.
Oh My God and everything.
I don't know why I didn't know that.
Industrial titan.
Damn, okay, that's awesome. Fortunate. Yeah, Manson was one of my favorites in high school, so that's awesome.
Well, thank you guys. Like I said, I appreciate you having me on and kind of allowing me to talk about some of my stuff, and you guys being so enthusiastic and like appreciative to listen. Like, so thank you.
Of course, man. Much. Always appreciate you. It was good talking, and I hope you have a good rest of your day, man.
Yep.
You too.
All right, man.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Take it easy. Have fun with the rest of your stream.
We'll certainly try.
Woo!
All right.
See,
again, thank you to Grimm. Thank you guys who are watching so far.